There's gotta be a better way. Today's either gonna be the best day of my life or the worst day of my life. Hello everybody, happy Thanksgiving. My name is Vaughn. I am a video producer for NYT Cooking, and today I'm making Thanksgiving for one. So, some of you might be asking, Vaughn, why are you not in your kitchen? Like 3 days ago, I moved to a new apartment, and aside from there being boxes absolutely everywhere, I don't have gas in my apartment. I'm kind of unable to cook anything except for microwavable meals, maybe reheating some leftovers. So we're here in the studio today, which is great. It's fine, we're just gonna roll with it. My mom has 56 first cousins, and so Nanny, my grandma, would always make enough food to feed about 40 people, and we still adhere to that philosophy. We make so much food. Also, side note, it's Thanksgiving, there's always chaos going on. The beauty about cooking for one is that I'm only making things that I like to eat. I'm gonna have some form of poultry, obviously going to have stuffing, cranberry sauce, Brussels sprouts, potatoes 2 ways. I'm gonna have an appetizer, maybe a salady situation, and of course pie. And I will also definitely have leftovers, because let's be honest, the best part about Thanksgiving is the leftover situation, you know? The pie that I'm making today is definitely finicky, so I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and while that's baking, I can prepare all the other things that I need to do for my meal. Pie dough. That was way smoother than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest with you. I'm making a pie-fecta, meaning that in this one pie, there will be 3 dividers made out of pie dough that will hold pumpkin pie, apple pie, and chocolate chess pie. And I have never tried this before, so I don't know if it's gonna work. It sounds crazy, and it just might be. Ah, how beautiful. We can save these pie scraps, crimp the edges. I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator while I roll out the rest of my dough and make some little walls to separate the 3 pies out. Stay tuned. I'm glad that I'm making more because I might need to reinforce some of these walls. And I really just need 3 good ones. Oh, maybe I should measure to the center of the pie, right? There to there. There to there. Yeah. Why do we build walls? Just to tear them down. I'm gonna freeze this solid, and then when it is solid, I'll put it in here like this. I'm gonna mark the center of my pie. Dough scraps are definitely gonna come in handy. It's gonna need a little bit more doctoring, but while that firms up in the freezer, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on my fillings. I'm going to pre-cook my apple fillings. I'm actually gonna do cubed apples for this filling. It'll cook down a little bit quicker and maybe get a little bit jammier. Chocolate chess pie, I feel like, is a very southern thing. It's kind of like craggly on the top, like a brownie, but then the inside is molten. I'm gonna just pour some of this melted butter over the chocolate so that the residual heat melts it. Obviously, gotta have pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving. So I've got my chocolate in a good place. My pumpkin will come together really quickly. My apples are cooking down. It's now time to go back to the pie crust and see if we can just par bake it quickly for about 15 minutes before we fill them and then put them all back in the oven. Okay, I feel like this is cool, right? It literally, it's neat. I just need the validation. I'm docking the dough. That will ensure good ventilation with the crust and we'll make sure that it doesn't puff up too much as we par bake it. Hit this with a little bit of egg wash so that the kind of crust stays nice and brown. That smells really good. Pieces of foil already kind of portioned out here. I like using parchment typically, but because I've got like such a weird shape, I kind of wanted to be able to like form a little basket in there like that. Okay. And this kind of holds its shape a little bit better, which is nice. Okay, so this goes into a 425-degree oven for probably about 15 minutes, And then I'm gonna remove the foil and the rice and then let it go for maybe 2 or 3 more minutes until the bottom is matte and no longer glossy. So while my crust is par baking, I'm just gonna finish the rest of my fillings. The apples are cooking down quite nicely. It smells delicious. Tastes like Thanksgiving. Oh man. My walls have fallen down. Yep, the walls have fallen. It's okay. It's fine. You know what? It'll be okay. Just telling myself that. I thought that I was so, you know, it's because I didn't add enough rice. I should have really like tried to add those in there so that it held it up. I should have called Aaron before this, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, no. Those are toast. It's fine. Maybe once it comes out of the oven, the dough will still be kind of slack, and I can build them back up. I've not abandoned all hope, ye who enter here, just quite yet. I'm taking this pie crust out of the oven. Okay, one wall kind of stayed intact. Okay, it's not awful. Is it ideal? No. Oh, no. Definitely could be better. Don't get a close-up of this. Like this part is great. I'm gonna put this back in the oven for a second and let those walls get a little sturdier. It looked pretty before. At least like you get the effect, right? That's gonna cool for a second. The fillings are made. Maybe I'll make a design. Salvage the aesthetic of this pie at all costs. Cool, cute. I've got my designs. Just rolling with it. It's very cooking for one core. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the pumpkin into the oven because this takes the longest, and then I will add the other 2 fillings and they will continue to bake, and then the pie will be ready. Great. Okay. The pie gods would probably smite me for adding filling to warm crust, but it's okay. So this is gonna go back into the oven for probably another 25-ish minutes, and then we'll see how it turns out. Wow. This pie took years off of my life. Don't want to talk about it. At the end of the day, at least there's pie. The rest of the stuff is just easy, breezy, beautiful. So I'm gonna roast some potatoes. Hopefully they'll bake up in about even amounts of time. Kind of rub these with a little bit of oil. I'm going to take a fork. I'm not gonna cover it in foil. I'm just gonna bake it like this. I am going to now get my pancetta browning a little bit. This garlic, P.S. It's just so comically small. The shallots will make their debut in many of the dishes today, namely the Brussels sprouts along with the pancetta, and also in the stuffing because, you know, stuffing has to have a lot of like onions and garlic in it. Pancetta is browned. I'm not looking for it to get so super crispy because it's also gonna go back into the oven with the Brussels sprouts, so it can get a little bit darker. Okay, so we have all of this like olive oil, a little bit of the fat rendered off from the pancetta, and to that, I'm going to add my shallots. I'm gonna sweat them out a little bit. Oh, I'm one lone soldier. No shallot left behind. I feel like I gotta add some butter, just because it's Thanksgiving. Maybe like that's like 2 tablespoons. Why not? I'm not driving. But I'll chop up some garlic, and then I will prepare my Brussels sprouts. These are sweating down nicely, which is good. It's a lot of garlic. Onions, garlic, they're what dreams are made of. Hey now, hey now. If you could have anybody at your Thanksgiving table, who would it be? I mean, Hillary Duff might be one of mine, an icon, the original ally. I think the best thing about like roasting a Brussels sprout is the little like wayward leaves. They get like really crispy. I am gonna deglaze a little bit with a touch of white wine. I feel like that's gonna add that little bit of fanciness that you look for at Thanksgiving. And then once those are done, I'm gonna set half of them aside in this bowl for my stuffing, and then the rest of them I'll toss with the Brussels sprouts themselves and the pancetta. Yum. The pancetta is really salty, but I still wanna go ahead and season up the Brussels sprouts themselves. Lots of pepper. And try to get them all in like an even layer so that they roast rather than steam. For right now, they can just kind of hang out over on the side. I have these reserved shallots here that I was cooking down, and I'm gonna turn the heat back on. And I'm gonna add to that a little bit more white wine. While the alcohol kind of cooks out of that wine a little bit, I'm gonna add 2 eggs to the bowl. Whisk those in just a second. And then I have literally the most adorable things on the entire face of the planet, which are these like high-walled mini souffle dishes. Butter those. I'm gonna add some definitely not homemade chicken stock to this. That will kind of cook down a little bit. And then while that goes, I'm gonna get some herbs ready. That's my big bag of herbs. Though I'm not at my apartment right now, I still had to bring some of the comforts of home. Time is one of those things that I like never really have or buy. I never have time. So this is hot, and these are eggs. They would scramble if I didn't do something called tempering them. So what I'm gonna do is slowly pour in some of the liquid from this stock, whisk, to kind of slowly bring the eggs up to temperature, and then add the rest of my shallots. Oh. What was I thinking? That's huge. Whatever. And then, so I seasoned the shallots, but I haven't seasoned this yet. And I really like spicy food. Yum. Like, how could this not be so good? Wow, we're moving and grooving. I might need a third. I either overestimated the bread or underestimated the dish. They actually already buttered one of these things. I love when I do that. Perfect. So those are ready to go. I'm gonna get some macaroni going, and this is for my mac and cheese, which is probably one of the most special things that my family has every year. My sister Valerie now is in charge of making the mac and cheese. But before it was Nanny, and it is Nanny's recipe, and she called it better than sex mac and cheese, which is, I don't even know, but it's really good. One thing that infuriates me about living in New York, pimento cheese is very hard to find here. And it's so good. Growing up, I would say that my body was 85% pimento cheese. I'm gonna add this in here, and then I'm gonna kind of loosen it up a little bit. You guessed it, Duke's mayonnaise. My Thanksgiving for one is not for the faint of heart. Now that this is like a little bit of a looser spread, I'm gonna add some of my reserved starchy pasta water. I'm gonna give this like a nice little mix before I add the macaroni. And the pimento cheese, what's great about it, it's already seasoned, quite cheesy. So I'm gonna put these into those cute little ramekins too. Plopped on top there. Crack a little pepper. Great, I think I'm ready to get some of this stuff in the oven. So I dry brined the bird. I'm going to roast her. So what I'm gonna do really quickly before I do that is I'm gonna take some time, and then I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top and then put it in the oven. Looks so happy. I'm feeling like I'm in a really good place. Everything is in the oven that needs to be in the oven, and it all bakes at a pretty similar amount of time. And it's almost done. So that means I'm just gonna add the last little finishing touches. To my potatoes, I'm going to make a quick, what's called a compound butter. That's basically like adding flavorings and seasonings to your butter to make it even more delicious than it already is, which is kind of crazy because it's like already butter. Garlic and like rosemary, And me sweating in the kitchen. It's the holidays, baby. And that just gets added to that. Flaky salt. Wow, that was the biggest flake of salt I've ever seen. And then a true Hail Mary to bring some football terminology into this Thanksgiving meal. This crabby situation. This will be the perfect little like amuse-bouche type thing to really get the palate going. So the idea came from like a vol au vent, which is basically puff pastry. When nobody was looking, I kind of baked off a couple of those, and I also have some endive or endive, and by George, wow, effing good. And I really think that everything kind of is done at the exact same time, which is great. I planned that all along. Oh my. I'll let her hang out for just a second. So we have all these beautiful things right here, but obviously the most important part is the jellied cranberry sauce. And fight me on this, it's way better than the homemade stuff. Sorry. The best part of every year is getting the cranberry sauce out. Oh, and no, cutting through is actually the best part. Oh my God. What makes it so delicious? Wow, you're perfect just the way you are. Okay, I think that we're pretty much ready to eat. You know what? My pie, I'm proud of this pie. We've gone through a lot together. The Cornish hen, the skin looks really crispy. First, I have to have my hors d'oeuvres. I simply can't go on without my hors d'oeuvres. Maybe since this is an hors d'oeuvre, I should just go ahead and eat this with my wine. That's delicious. Go me. I feel like I always during Thanksgiving eat an hors d'oeuvre or like eat the hors d'oeuvres as I'm still finishing the meal. So it was nice to like have that moment for myself. Now I'm gonna build my ideal Thanksgiving plate. So again, the idea is to have leftovers for myself. Okay, future gifts. Here's my, what I was gonna call a Franken-tater, which is half russet, half sweet. It's so dumb. Hit that with some the compound butter. Yum. Stuffing, a mac and cheese. I'm gonna Brussels me up. Hello. La pièce de résistance. Okay, that looks honestly better than I thought this was gonna turn out. I kind of pulled it off, but I don't know. I'm excited about it. This will be the first Thanksgiving that I have without my beloved grandmother, Nanny, and you know, having a plate like this really kind of brings it home for me. And the beautiful thing is that I'm not offending anybody by not eating the green bean casserole. All right, I mean, I guess I gotta go for the bird. That's better than turkey. There, I said it. Wow. I mean, the Brussels sprouts are the gift that keeps on giving. The whole year round, Clark. Ooh, wow, this is really delicious. I mean, the cutest stuffing you ever did see. Wow. Yeah, it was really dumb of me to include pieces of bread that were like that big. What? The cranberry sauce. Never fails. The pie. I have nothing else to say about this pie. Some little slices of joy. It's a pumpkin pie. I can't remember if I put sugar in this. I don't think that I did. At the end of the day, my pie crust is still very flaky. So, a win. And you know what, at the end of the day, I did have a lot of fun. To people who might not be able to venture out or make it home or make it to a big group gathering, you know, I think that this is a great way to get all of those Thanksgiving flavors without having to break your back. Making these things reminds me a lot of my family, and it makes me really excited to be able to go home and enjoy these things with them. Oh, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Oh.
1 minute to spare on this.
Wow.